Hey guys, welcome to Jodi Paxton Road's Premier League Player Ratings show. I am back after a bit of a break. Had quite a bit of a break. Mum was over from Australia, wasn't very well for a bit, so sorry I haven't been around, guys. But I'm back after a break to a very disappointing loss, I think I call it. Sean, how you doing? I've got Sean back with me tonight, guys, just to break down that match against Villa. Yeah, how you doing?
Um,
What's going
okay,
on?
okay. The disappointment is still there. More the anger at what I feel was being let down by refereeing inadequacies yesterday is my abiding passion at the moment. And
Yeah.
I'm being I'm being trolled by Villa fans on X stroke Twitter for my ire at certain Matthew Cash and his
Yeah.
outrageous challenge on Bentancur yesterday, which was an assault. Not even to call it a tackle is a misnomer.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Definitely referee got that decision wrong, I think. Yeah, and obviously very kind of concerning as well. I mean, I hope Bentancur's okay. I haven't seen anything since yesterday, but obviously we don't want any more injuries to come about from him, any long-term injuries anyway. So I hope he's all right, really.
It'll probably be the weekend before we find out.
Yeah. Come on, Benty. He was playing so well as well, wasn't he?
Oh, that was a real purple patch of midfield
Amazing.
magic.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. It was so good. And we will get into that. Before we do that, any thoughts on the match overall? What about the lineup? What was your thoughts on that? Very different.
Yeah, there was a few surprises, to put it mildly. Um, and I suppose, and just trying to deal with what he's got available.
Yep.
Um, I feel he's at the moment in a situation where he doesn't want to throw youngsters in because he doesn't want to kill them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um,
And it would be
you know,
unfair on them, I think, as well.
yeah. I mean, it's a difficult call to make. But then you see the
Yeah.
Manchester United put in an 18-year-old against Everton yesterday and
Mm,
had a stirring performance. It's
I think,
he's paid the big bucks to make the decisions,
and he
and
sees them in training, right?
he sees them
So,
in training every week, and he
it's
knows
obviously a
who's
reason.
yeah, and he's trying to cut his cloth at the moment because any of the top teams would struggle with the depth of and the sort of how concentrated our injuries have become
That's
in such a short
ridiculous.
spell of time. But,
Absolutely ridiculous. Scraping
yeah,
the barrel at the moment, really, aren't we?
yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, for me, I wasn't that confident going into the match yesterday. I think we were just talking offline, weren't we? And I was saying I'm not really confident at the moment until we get our Madison and Van der Ven and Romero and our our starting 11 guys back in the squad. I don't know. It's fun to watch, like we were saying. Definitely fun to watch. I mean, the first half, especially yesterday, was great. It was full of energy, and it was what we love to see. But it's just I don't know. I just go into these matches thinking that it's just not gonna happen for us until we get like the strength of the squad back up. So yeah, I wasn't surprised that we lost it. We could have won it. To be fair, we definitely could have won that match, which is very frustrating. So I think if we hadn't have conceded just before halftime, as I was saying, it could have been a different story as well. Mentally, the team might have been a bit more stronger going into the second half. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, we'll never know, will we? So unfortunately, we lost that one. Three on the bounce.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fine margins, though, isn't it? I mean, I actually was sitting next to Sam for the Chelsea game in the stadium, and you know, they, we were that close to getting a 2-2 down to 9 men. I mean,
Mm,
if you think about it, there was a Bentancur chance, there was the Son chance in particular, and then the Dyer had that
yeah.
absolute worldie of a half volley, which
Oh yeah.
You know, sadly he was
Unfortunately for
offside, but
him. Yeah.
so it was that close to getting a 2-2, which would have been absolutely dramatic. And you
Yeah.
know, I mean, it would have been a bit, but it's and against Wolves, 90 minutes is up, and
Mhm. I feel
but
like we're having a lot of bad luck as well, aren't we? There's a lot of offsides. There's a lot of guys not like. Yeah, I don't know.
I think as David just said in one of the comments there, it's about being clinical in front of goal.
Yeah,
You
definitely,
know,
and that's what yesterday proved for us, didn't it? I think that, I mean, we'll get into it, and I think the guys up front actually played really well. I think it was just that end product, wasn't it, that was lacking, and unfortunately, yeah, like you said, David, we could have won that match definitely. How many shots? We had, what was it, 6 or 7 shots on target, I think, yesterday from last memory. I probably more, I don't know, but
well,
um,
Martinez made 6 saves, I think it was.
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
yeah. Yep. Anyway, let's get into it, Sean. Guys, as always, before we get into it, please, if you can like and subscribe to Paxton Road TV if you are new. Also, please just tell us what you think about the players as well as we go through. David, I know you love doing that, so if you want to give your ratings in the chat, Sean and I will talk them through. And yeah, we'll talk about those as well as we go through. So let us get into it, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might be a little bit generous, as we were saying. I think you were saying that as well.
Yeah, maybe I'm sure David will take issue
Yeah,
with
he'll
my
he'll
scores, but
he'll
yeah, that's
pull
fine.
us down a peg or two, I think, won't you, David? But anyway, let's see what we have to say about these guys. Let me move you off, Dino. So Vicario, Sean, what are you saying about Vicario? 6, yeah, 6 and a 6.
Yeah, this is probably his.
Not as like
Not
he's
as not he was not as
not as
commanding. I didn't.
polished,
Yeah,
maybe.
and I wonder whether that was because he felt the fact that he was not defended by proper centre
Yeah,
halves, if you like.
true.
That um, people have made a case that perhaps he could have come for the free kick, for example, or
Mm.
but he actually went backwards rather than forwards. I don't know, but again, he made some great
He
saves.
made some good saves.
Including I
Yeah.
love the one where he pushed onto the post and it came off and it hit him on the leg, but didn't go anywhere. And
Yeah.
like how many times would that have hit?
Yeah.
If it was Lloris, for example, last season, it would
Yeah.
have hit the
It would have
post,
gone
hit
in.
him, and then got in. But it was
Was that the one off
yeah,
Bailey's shot, the slip up that he made, I think?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Um,
That was
and
yeah. Only
and a
bit of
great
shakiness though that I've seen from
yeah.
him.
Great save from the free kick as well. I remember from
Yeah.
Digne's free kick. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was expecting it to be Louise because he'd scored against us in Villa Park, but it was they took it in the end. Yeah.
David,
Ah,
7.5. Yeah, I actually did give him 6.5, but I knocked it down to 6 just because I don't know. I just felt like in comparison to he didn't have as many saves to make, and also those mistakes that you're talking about. I think that was the one that I thought it's just not as polished as a performance as he usually has. But can I just say what an amazing signing we have with him, regardless of anything else? I'm just so happy that we were able to secure him. Like he's just such a good goalie, and I think regardless of whatever else is going on at Spurs at the moment, we've got such a good keeper there. And we should be really happy and celebratory of that, I think, because yeah, I think not a lot of people were that happy about him, were they, when he first joined?
well,
So,
given the shenanigans that are going on down the other end of the Seven Sisters Road,
mhm.
when we were supposed to, where fans were going, oh, we must get Rayo, we must get Rayo, and
Yeah,
Brentford
exactly.
was saying, well, yeah, if you want him, you £40 million.
Yeah.
I'm more than comfortable with the choice that Ange has made. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm very happy. I think he's probably one of the best keepers at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
really. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let us move.
Was it hashtag my keeper as I put everywhere?
He is your keeper. My keeper, my keeper. All right, Pedro Porro, Sean, what you saying? 7.5. I think it was a good game from
Mm-hmm.
Porro. I think especially in the first half, like most of them, kind of a bit of a theme probably will be going on. But I think, he was proving to be a threat. throughout, like even through into the second half. I think he was playing well. I think obviously he had a few attempts at goal. I think he was always like really super busy throughout the match. And then his corner led to the goal as well. So I think I bumped him up slightly for that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh
yeah, I
no,
think
I mean, for me, one of the three candidates for our man of the match, if you like,
yeah,
was Poro. Thought he had a
yeah.
very excellent game. Interesting, it's a theme we're going to return to, I think. But officiating, officiating. I don't know if you remember I think it was in the first half where he went to make a challenge with an Aston Villa player. The Aston Villa
Mhm.
player got the ball, but followed through straight onto his ankle,
Mhm.
and it was very reminiscent of a challenge by a certain Argentinian in the game against Chelsea. And what
Mm.
happens? The Argentinian gets a red card, but the
Yes.
Aston Villa player gets a throw in. I mean, it was bizarre. But um, PGMOL, please explain. Number
Yeah.
one,
No, they won't.
why that was a not a red card when it was when Romero did it on his countryman.
Yeah. I agree. But I think, yeah, good. I think, yeah, like you said, probably one of the better players, one of the best players on the day. Definitely. He's really stepping up. So yeah, no, I think played really well. Henry,
Yes,
what you saying? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say I think he's adapted to the role very well.
Yeah, definitely he has. Henry, you've given us out your rating for everyone. So you've given Vicario 6 and Poro 6. Okay. Perfect. All right. Let us move on to our centre backs. Anderson Royal. What are we saying, Sean? 7 and a 6. I mean,
Mm,
for playing out of his natural position, I think he did. I think he did really well. I think they weren't really tested, were they, in that first half much? So they didn't, to be honest, have a whole lot really going on. I think there was a nice sliding tackle from Emerson in the first half, which was really good to kind of deny Villa from scoring. But um, yeah, I don't know. I think for me, he was definitely. I think he played well from with what he was up against and what he had to do, and you know the experience I think that he has in that centre back role as well. Um, yeah, I don't know.
mm.
I think for playing out of his natural position, for me, he did really well, and he wasn't tested as much. So yeah, I'm giving him a 6. What do you think?
I've been more than generous, I think, because I was surprised I've given him a 7. But
I was a
I'll
bit
I'll
surprised at
I'll,
that as well.
I'll take your word that that was the score I sent.
Okay, let me just check that.
I was maybe having a rush of
That
blood,
was
but
very soon after the
I,
game, though, to be fair.
I yeah, certainly in the reaction show, I was not as complimentary about Royale, but it just goes to show. No, I just thought he was a bit like Davis. When the ball was in the air, you were always worried.
Oh, and
When
sorry, you gave him a 5. That's my bad. Sorry,
right,
Anderson.
that
Ignore
didn't give
that,
you.
guys. You gave him
Yeah,
a 5.
I thought in the air he's very weak, and too often I saw him coming out with the ball and then trying to Cruyff turn or nutmeg the first person that came to press him. And I just thought he was bailed out on more than one occasion by his other defenders. So
Mm.
yeah, I thought he was,
Well, that's what
and
David's saying as well.
yeah, I mean he was. It was clear. Do you know what? It was very clear that he was replacing Romero, and you can see that there's like a country mile between them. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
in,
definitely, massively. There's
in
no
terms,
comparison. There's no
you know,
comparison.
in terms of being able to pass the ball, Romero is like
Yeah.
streets ahead of Royale, and
Yeah.
it's a really key role in Ange's system that the centre backs can pass the ball,
Yeah.
and certainly it's not one of Royale's strengths. He can
No.
run and run, and he can be a nuisance. But the trouble is, he's more of a nuisance. He was more of a nuisance to us. I felt yesterday than
Mm.
than to them. And yeah, I worried when the ball came over that he just wasn't tracking attackers around him in the middle. You know, and you need to be commanding in the air when you're a centre back, and he hasn't
Yeah.
got it. He hasn't got it.
Yeah, his gait is not that of an athlete. Oh, bless Royal. No, I think the situation we're in. I don't think we have anyone currently at the moment that has that
I
physicality.
mean, to be honest, this is a case of Ange trying to protect young players from having their careers
Yeah, and I
stillborn.
totally agree with that. Like,
Yeah,
I know a lot of people want to see the youngsters play, and fair enough. We
and,
should see
and
them.
what's the other
But
option? You play Dyer
yeah, and then what?
against
The heat
against
you're gonna get.
Watkins and Diaby and Bailey, and
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
come on,
No, I can
come
see that. I
on,
can see the thought process definitely. Just unfortunate, I think, for Emerson that it's not his position. So
no.
I think he did well for what he was up against, really. Ben Davies, another one. 6 and a 5.5. Is that the right score, Sean? I think
Yeah,
he really
I
went
mean,
up.
do you know what? The guy takes an awful lot of shade from our fan base, and do you know what? He's so much more dependable than any other of our second choices. He's much more
He's
dependable than
dependable. He's very
yeah,
dependable. I'll give him that.
and it's not like he's got no experience of playing in the centre of defence, but he usually plays in a three for Wales, and
Yeah.
that's
Well, he's
that's
got
a
more
that
experience than
yeah.
Emerson, though,
Yeah,
right?
and that's a different role. The trouble is physicality is not his strength.
Mm-mm.
And then the key moment yesterday, the key moment, which was that free kick coming in as half time was
Yeah,
coming,
that's why I marked him
he was
down.
he was the wrong he was the
Yeah,
wrong side of Pau Torres.
yeah,
He didn't know where Pau Torres was. He
yeah,
was out muscled by not he was just more outpowered by him.
yeah.
And
Agreed.
it was crucial because I
Yeah,
think if we go in at 1-0, you can
you can come back from that
you
massively.
come
Yeah,
yeah
it's the
you come out
mentality
you
side.
come out in the second half in a much better
Yeah,
place, a
definitely.
much
Our
better
guys had
place.
definitely stepped their foot off the pedal coming into the second half because of that. And yeah, I agree. It's
But I think on the floor he was fine. His passing was all right. He did his tackles. He cleared. And there was one or two times when Ange had a sharp exchange of words for him, saying get the ball up to Hill much quicker, which he did. He responded to that, and on the on the deck he's fine. On the fine, he's certainly a much better passer than Dyer or Royale. So
mm,
it's his physicality that really lets him down now.
yeah, but also I think what David's saying as well, for their goal, if you're marking a centre back at a free kick, then you have to block the player's run to stop him getting to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, exactly that. And that's why I've dropped him down as well. And again, I think for the second goal, I don't know. To be honest, I've watched it a couple of times. I think him and Emerson were both on Watkins. I don't know if we can blame necessarily Davies for that. But he is a centre back.
Well, I
He's the
think he
next.
retreated rather than going forward. I think it would have,
Mm,
made it a little bit more difficult for uh, Watkins if he'd gone forward a bit. So yeah, he's
yeah,
probably at fault for both goals, and but
yeah.
I like him as a human being and as
Well,
as
there's no bias
and as
here, Sean. You know
and
that. You're not judging on how you like the players.
and, and as a squad member. I don't mind having Ben Davis in the Tottenham squad at the moment. So
All
that's
right.
not to say that we can't upgrade, but that's for another day.
Oh yeah, definitely. We can definitely upgrade. That's for sure. Who we got next, Sean? We've got Udogi back in the squad. 6 and a 6.5. I think he played really well. Like, I think really good to see him back. I think he was full of energy in that first half. Had a shot at goal as well, but obviously missed. I think he was struggling against Villa's counterattack maybe in the second half. But you know what? I think he was one of them that really seemed to have lost a lot of energy as well. So he was one that I think first half definitely had a great performance, but I think maybe just slightly took his foot off the pedal maybe in the second half. Um, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's possibly a case that he was pressed into action after
Yeah.
being injured,
Yeah.
and
True.
and maybe the second half was a bit. I mean, Bailey is a difficult customer to do. He is quicksilver. He's a difficult. I did feel that he was caught upfield a lot of times. I mean, he was doing his attacking work really, really well, but there
Mm.
were times when on transition
He
we
was
were
very high
being,
up, wasn't he? That's
yeah,
one
it was
thing I
very high
noticed.
up,
Yeah.
and we were, I mean, look, if you think for that afterwards, 90 seconds, that chance he had on the edge of the box. I mean, he was almost like a centre forward there. He didn't hit it like a centre forward, sadly, but it was.
Mm.
I mean, he was very good. He was key to that. It was a key part of the first half.
Yeah.
When we were in the ascendancy, but it's difficult to do when I think he needed to curtail his attacking instinct given the fact that we didn't have we were playing with four fullbacks in
Yeah.
defence,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think
Definitely.
he needed to pick and choose his time a bit more. But
Yeah.
he's 20 years old. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna give him
I
too
think
much. No.
that's the thing as well with, I mean, it's the first time this squad have actually started a game together as well. So it's trying to get used to all of that as well, isn't it? So yeah, definitely. But no, I'm definitely very impressed with him. And I like to
Yeah.
see more. Give us more,
Ha-
Destiny.
hashtag my left back.
He's going to say that about every member of the squad.
No, they're just Italians.
Hashtag my centre, hashtag my midfielder. My all right, Rodrigo Bentancur. I think he's probably one of your favourites, isn't he? Talking about bias.
Yeah, I am biased about Rodrigo Bentancur. I don't know if you follow Amanda Hammond on Twitter. She's a sketch. She does sketches of players, and
I don't know the name, but I have seen someone doing sketches, so that's probably who
yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah. So she did one of Bentancur, which I went and bought off of her. So I'm still to get it framed and get it put up on my wall. But yeah, I've got a sketch of Bentancur.
Ah,
He's a special player, and hence again number two officiating. That was an assault. And that
mm,
was a red card every day and twice on Sunday, except not yesterday, Sunday. That was
yeah,
a shocking challenge. It was nowhere near the ball. It was high. It was vicious, and deserved a red card.
yeah,
I'll go to my grave and say, Matthew Cash, you are a beep 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 beep, because that was a second shocking challenge on a Spurs player in in
yeah.
2 years. I mean, I think about what he did to Matthew Doherty as well. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I feel absolutely aggrieved at that, and I'm getting trolled by Villa fans on Twitter. And you know what? Lump it, lump it. Your man should have seen red.
Yeah, definitely.
But Bentancur was absolutely silky,
Very
and
silky.
there's no
Very
doubt about
silky.
it. His removal from the field of play was a changing part of
Yeah.
it. Was a fundamental change in that game yesterday.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. The way he was pinging those balls forward, he was kind of playing like a quarterback role as well. He was such a good, it was just such a good setup. I think that just that first half was so good, apart from obviously the last few minutes there where we conceded. But yeah, I agree. Like, what more do you want to see from him? I think just the way that he went off, like I was saying, was such a nightmare to see him go down like that. And I just really hope he's okay. And it's just such a shame that we seem to be picking up injuries left, right, and centre at
Mhm.
the moment. um,
I think, as you, I
it's-
think, as you said, Jody, we as Spurs fans are not allowed to have nice things.
we're not allowed to have nice things. I mean, how many injuries we have? Eight or nine of our first 11.
Yeah,
Is it that many? Something like that, isn't it?
I
Um,
mean, suspensions. When you throw in suspensions as well,
it's
it's
the whole
it's
squad. It's the
quite
whole
tough.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah. David, what you're saying, Bentancur 8, pure class, finds space where there is none, keeps possession and processes the ball without giving it away, unlike others. Definitely. He is pure class, isn't he? The Rolls Royce of our midfield. Not much more we can say about him really, because he didn't
Mm.
only played about half an hour, didn't he? But moving on to Gio, first start in about 2 years, I think, wasn't it?
Since El Sacchio, I believe. The last time
Yeah,
he played for us was El Sacchio. So we're
matching
talking
needed
about
an 8 there.
we're talking about Nuno. My God, you
Yeah,
know.
Nuno's days. Was that 2 years ago? Oh, seems like longer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what do you think about Lo Celso?
For me, he was our best player. He was our
Yeah,
best player well, not by a long way. As I say, it was between Poro, Kulusevski, and Lo Celso for me. But I thought Lo Celso took up the cudgel really well, scored a fantastic goal, no doubt about it.
yeah, it
And
was
you
a
can
good
see
one.
that he really enjoyed that. Maybe they
He
over
nearly scored another
celebrated.
one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they over celebrated a bit because they seemed a bit shell shocked when the kickoff came and Watkins is heading in from a very clearly offside position. It didn't take 10 minutes to make sure.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
it was just.
Officiating
I
number
don't even know what
three.
happened there. It was such a.
Oh, God. That was shocking. I mean, it was so clearly offside that, it's
Mm,
forever just. Oh, don't go there.
yeah,
Don't go. Anyway, yeah.
don't
So
relive it.
yeah, but so I thought Lo Celso had a great game. I think he ran out of steam. I mean, he'd obviously put in a great shift for Argentina against Brazil in
Yeah, but he's
midweek.
not used to playing full
And
games either,
as I
is
say,
he?
it's his first full, his first
Yeah,
start since that Fulham debacle. So yeah, it was very good, very good.
yeah, I agree. What else is there? Yeah, three key passes. So, he was just helping out in that playmaker role, really, wasn't he? Just kind of,
Mhm.
just really making sure that he was setting things up for others, but also having those shots for himself. And so much of the action was coming down through him as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, and he cleaned up everything. I just think he played super super well. And a surprise, the Celso is not one of my faves. I have to admit, I've never really been a fan. So big up to you, Gio. David, what are you saying? Celso, 7.5, very impressed with his performance, considering people say he's totally uninterested at being here. An 8. Yeah, match us, David.
And Dave, you got two scores there.
You
Which
do
one
have
is
2
it?
scores. I think he changed his mind a little bit there. But yeah, maybe that's why I'm not that keen on him, David, because he doesn't show that interest particularly well. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Maybe I'll change. Maybe I'll change if he keeps throwing out performances like that yesterday. Gio
Well,
wants away.
he's certainly going to get the games now because there's no one obvious to take the
Mm,
place of Madison, I would say, other than
yeah.
himself. So,
I
or
mean, he played.
well, he played more of an 8 rather than the 10, didn't he? So maybe it's he was more.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, he played well in preseason as well, didn't he?
Mhm.
Thinking back.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, he's got time now, hasn't he? So he's going to prove
yeah, I think
himself.
absolutely.
Right, Decky, what we saying? 7, 7.5. I think a really, really good first half for him. Um, I think, what is it, 3 shots at goal? Like, he was trying. I think, that goal that he should have got early in the first half was an unfortunate one. Hit the back of the post, and I was very upset when that happened. But I think as well, like his playmaking as well throughout the game was really impressive. He was also setting up and creating chances for others. I think he set up Johnson, didn't he? And that obviously
Hmm.
didn't come off. Um, but I think he'll be really disappointed with the result of that game. I think with so much, how much of the action that he actually had in there and how much creativity he was trying to throw in. Um, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I think certainly his shooting needs. I mean, he's part of
Yeah,
the
his end
reason
product
why
needs
we
help.
weren't clinical enough. I mean, he had
Yeah,
chance apart from the one he rattled the post. The one that was kind of passed in front of Johnson
yeah.
didn't need to go to Johnson. That just
No,
needed to go into the
exactly.
far. It
Yeah,
needed to just
yeah,
go in the far corner, and he's hit it with the inside of his foot, and it's turned it. He's turned what should have been a shot into a cross.
yeah.
And it's. I mean, but having said that, he has said himself that he enjoys playing in the number 10 role, which is the role he was playing. He was the Maddison yesterday more
Yeah.
than Lo Celso.
Then it's
Yeah,
also,
and
yeah.
I thought I mean, in the first half he was brilliant. Second half he took on the change of role where he went back to the right hand side. I thought he was very dangerous down there. On another day he may have got a penalty. Again, contentious for me. You know, VAR looked at it but didn't see anything. To me, it looked like another foul, but you know, we were obviously not getting anything. And I think this is the Liverpool game coming back to kick us in the teeth as often as possible now. You know, so yeah, I was really, you know, he worked his socks off for us, and you know, again, a
So
player
it's
within
the ethic, it's the work ethic,
yeah,
isn't it? But
yeah,
it's just the end product is lacking. And I think
yeah.
David, what you're saying, this is where I part ways with most Spurs fans. He reminds me of a present with great packaging, but you can't open it to find out how good it is. And that is pretty much hit the nail on the head, I think, when it comes down to sort of like his goal scoring and um, you know, the talent is there, and we've seen it. And we've had glimpses of it. I mean, I actually think he played really well yesterday. Unfortunately, the end product, you know, was lacking, and that's a very important part of the role. So, but I think that's a very good analogy, and I like that because it's very true when it comes to Kulusevski, I think. What do you think about that, Sean? You agree with David?
David has got a way with words. Yeah, sometimes he gives us little bon mot. But yeah, no, Kulusevski didn't deserve to be on the losing side yesterday. Definitely.
No, he needs a goal. He needs a goal.
I think he overthinks it sometimes. I think he just needs to put his
Just needs to
laces
do
through
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he tends to he tends to shoot with his inside of his foot. I just wish sometimes he would just throw the laces through it and just hit it as hard as he can. You know?
Mm. You listening, Kulu? Brennan Johnson, 6 and a 6. I don't know. I feel like it might be. I mean, I actually thought he started out really well. I think he made some nice attempts. I think there was 2 of 3 on target again. Part of the front guys that just couldn't get the ball in the net. I think I don't know. I think I'm really happy with him. I think he's a very good signing. I wasn't too. I wasn't sure about him when we kind of first started hearing the rumors about him coming over. I was not sure, but every time I've seen him start, I've been very impressed with what I've seen. Um, but yeah, I think it's just the end product for me, really. And I don't know, that maybe contradicts my score for Kulusevski there, but I think he was making an effort. He was really bright when he came on, like when he was on. But I don't know what more do you, other than end product, like what else are you saying about him?
My concern about him is that I'm not sure he's quite Ange fit or Ange ball fit,
Mm,
and I think that he tires quite easily at the moment. And it could be that, you know, he didn't have the preseason with us. He didn't, you know, so he arrived late in the transfer window. So I don't know whether he's. I mean, there's certainly elements of his game which look really good. He's got
yeah,
good close control. He's got pace. He's got pace to burn, but I don't think at the moment he's got fitness. And I think the fact that he pulled up with a hamstring on a couple of occasions does make you wonder. I hope he's not overthinking, you know,
his
about
hamstring.
his
Yeah, such
hamstring.
a dangerous game, isn't it? That where
I don't want him to become another Ryan Sessegnon. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
but
yeah,
it's yeah,
I think there's a player who will be good for us in the future, and once he gets
yeah.
more
Oh,
fitness,
definitely for the future.
yeah,
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 yeah.
and
Huge
this is
potential.
good. You know, he's only what 22 as well, 23. I don't
Yeah,
know. So
yeah.
yeah, one for the future, definitely.
Yeah, I think Dave is kind of agreeing with you, saying it looks like a player who's still yet to believe if he's good enough, really, but has huge potential. So that's probably what it is as well. Maybe a lack of confidence, potentially, just coming from where he was to like Spurs, which it is a big leap, I think, and also to be starting games as well is a big, I think, is a big thing. So.
Mhm.
And then who do we have? We have Son, and I think we are matching on Son as well. Sean, 6 and a 6. End product, offside. Like what? 3 offside goals. Maybe I should have marked him off lower a bit for that.
Well, I don't think the one that came
Not
off the
necessarily
post.
his fault, is it?
Yeah, I mean, the one that came off the post was just instinctive, and he was offside in an offside position. Um, he was caught offside, but I think actually also Poro was offside for the one that he squared across to him, and Poro should have just taken
Yeah.
the shot. He didn't need to square the ball; he should have just hit the shot.
Mm.
And maybe he would have, I don't know. It's hard. I think they were both offside, so it wouldn't have made much difference. But yeah, he does. He seems to be turning into the Korean Jermaine Defoe at the minute. He's always offside.
It
I
is
mean,
like how many games now? Like,
let me think about Chelsea. I mean that
yeah,
he just needed to hold it for about half a second, and we would have
yeah,
been 2-0, and there
yeah,
was no way Chelsea were coming back from 2-0 because we were killing them at that point,
yeah.
and
No,
that kind of it was what would be, but I mean he's still a danger. He still frightens defenders. He's still the captain, and he leads by example,
yeah.
and um, I'm glad that we've got him, and I just want him to score a goal but be a
Mm.
bit more
I wanted
conscious
to,
of where he is when the ball's coming towards him, and he don't go
yeah.
offside. But Villa are especially. I think in Europe they've caught more players offside than any other team in the whole of Europe.
Mm.
Aston Villa, so they have a really really good back line. So
I just want him to be more consistent as well because he goes so many matches where he hasn't scored a goal and he had so many chances and they're all offside or something. We get unlucky. Um, we just need a bit more consistency from him because there's nowhere else consistently that the goals can come from really. Consistently. What are you saying, David? Human offsides on 6. He had 40 yards of open space in front of him, and if one of my old Sunday league strikers had done that, it would have drove me insane. Yeah, Son, mate, what are you doing? What's he doing in training?
Well, I don't think offside is a problem in training, does it? Because I can't imagine that they've got linesmen, but he
Mm,
does need to be a bit. Hopefully, I know that they split up the team. There's a coach responsible for different parts of the team. So I think Ryan Mason is responsible for midfield and attack. So maybe Ryan just needs to have a word with him.
yeah. Yep, we need some more goals, Son. We really do. And then Brian Hill, 6 and a 6. Again, maybe being a bit generous on this one. I think for him, it's his first start in a very long time. I think,
I
what
think
was it,
his
like
first start
March,
since January
April, or yeah, something like that. Um,
against Crystal Palace, in which he had a really good game actually against Crystal Palace and created.
yeah,
Well, he created 2 goals for Harry that night, but um,
I think he's lacking in
yeah.
confidence. When we're talking about confidence, I think he's lacking in confidence because
I mean,
there,
he can do this. He can do the pressing. He can do the scurrying and what have you. But his final ball,
it's the final ball and it's the
net,
decision making because there were a couple
mm,
of occasions where he should have just taken the shot for himself yesterday, but instead passed the ball to others.
and
And
then
I
another
just think
time he took
he's
the shot when he should have passed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the decision making and confidence. I think at the
Mm.
moment because he's so talented. I feel like he's really talented, and I'm a huge fan of him. Um, I just it's the physicality again for him.
He
Um,
does get pushed off the ball quite a bit, and
yeah.
when you've got thugs like Cash on the opposite position, and also referee number 4.
Mm.
What about the assault by Carlos
Oh
with
right,
the
yeah,
elbow?
yeah,
My God!
yeah, yeah,
And then what do we
yeah,
get told? VAR is not working at the moment.
yeah. It's a joke, isn't it?
That is shocking. And yet, no apology to Tottenham Hotspur from PGMOL or whatever they're called.
Yeah. Where
Oh,
was our apology? We never get apologies, do we?
no, that was an assault as well. So,
Yeah.
nasty. You know what? I never had any animus towards Aston Villa until yesterday. And now I bloody hate them. I bloody hate them because I
All of them,
felt,
or just a certain few?
no, I hate them. I hope
It's
the
a
whole
blanket
team,
statement there, Sean.
their fans were pretty nasty from what Sid was saying.
Oh,
And they were bigging up Matt Cash at White Hart Lane station on the way home. No, nasty people, and that was cynicism, and I hate Unai Emery because I think he brought some elements of Spanish very dark arts to that team, and to do it to Bentancur, my beloved, that was horrible.
Oh, yeah, that is criminal, Sean. That is
Absolutely.
criminal. And talking about criminals, let's get into crime of the week. um, couple of nominations this week. So first up, we've got Mitchell Thomas and Daniel Levy for the incident involving Jermaine Defoe 15 years ago. Not too sure what the latest is on that actually, but that did happen this week, so it's got to be nominated for crime of the week. But also Matty Cash. Matty Cash.
Oh,
Matty Cash.
oh,
A certain person has nominated this guy for the incident on Bentancur. I think we could also throw in the refereeing and VAR and all of that kind of stuff as well that happened in the game yesterday. As always, because it's always a standing thing. They're always getting locked up refereeing and referees and VAR. But what do you have to say about these, Sean?
I have to say the Jermaine Defoe thing seems like overreach. I mean, I just can't. But I mean, it was almost like they want to. There seems to be open. There seems to be open season on Tottenham at the moment. Like
Yeah, I know.
this is like
Always though.
you had the audacity to lead to be leading the title after leading the table after 10 games.
Yeah.
And
Getting manager of the month 3 months
and
in
getting
a
manager of the
row.
month 3 months yeah, and getting the genuine love of non-Spurs fans for the fact that our coach is plain speaking and doesn't speaks like a fan. But I mean, to me that whole story is overreach. They would have to come up with some really compelling evidence. And to me,
It's too
I
long
haven't,
ago. It's just
and it's
like
it's like, is there not a statute of limitations? This transfer was cleared years ago.
I agree. I think
And the thing is, he went from Tottenham to Portsmouth. It wasn't to us.
well, that's exactly it. We didn't benefit, did we?
No.
So
Oh, it's unbelievable. So yeah, I just think it was part of the MSM, the mainstream media's campaign against Tottenham Hotspur, and I never believed in that until I shared a pint with Chris Waddle at 1 a.m. in Dublin a year or so back, and he said, "Oh God, yes, the media hate us." I went,
it's clear though. It's very clear.
This is Chris Waddle, right? Who has no sort of skin in the game. He said, but I noticed it as soon as I came to the club.
Yeah.
So if the players feel that, even players from way back then I'm sure it hangs around.
It's tainted, isn't it?
The mainstream media hate Tottenham to do
it's
well.
very, very clear. Yeah.
And I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I don't get it. Is it just because we're an easy target? I don't know. It's got to be something behind it. But yeah, I agree. I feel like if we did wrong, then we need to be punished for it. But then so does everybody else. And then how many other people have done something like this that haven't been found out yet? And then how far back does it go? It's just I don't know. It's just overwhelming.
I mean, I'd hate to think that Everton have put this up as part of their kind of. I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for Everton. I think they've been overly harshly treated.
Yeah.
I mean, there are teams who've gone bankrupt and have only had nine points deducted from them.
It's pretty harsh.
And, for an overspend, one overspend, and to get 10 points is ridiculous. I'm for if clubs. I mean, I've said on the reaction show, or I've said on the talking points, when it comes to disciplining clubs, I would go for stripping the titles, not awarding them to anyone else, just stripping their titles, leaving an asterisk saying not awarded because of cheating. A financial penalty, and only then points. Definitely that's the order that I would have. If if they've won things due to cheating, then
Yeah.
those titles need to be taken from them.
Yeah.
If they, if they haven't won a title, then they need to be fined.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Because all
that
you're
does.
doing is you're punishing the fans, and if it's
That's yeah,
and if it's an
exactly.
historical thing,
You're
what
punishing
yeah,
fans, and you're
yeah,
punishing the current players who were involved.
yeah.
And the current manager and the current. It just doesn't make sense to me either. I agree. Yep. David's saying, Sean, are you aware of this? I don't want to scare you, but Spurs ladies played at Man City last night and lost 7-0.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in
Dreadful
regular
moment.
contact with Caroline of the N17 Women podcast, and yes, I'm well aware that that happened. Thankfully, I didn't actually bother to watch it on Spurs play, but it sounds like it was a nightmare. And that's a shame because I'm a season ticket holder for the women, and I've been
Yeah.
to a couple of games, and they're certainly a much better team this year. But Manchester City have got incredible strength, and you can see a hat trick in the first half an hour, then it's you're up against it. And obviously, there'll be inquests. There's an apology on the Spurs women Twitter page and on their Instagram page today, which has been retweeted by the players as well. It's it's one of those things. There are serious spenders and squads in the WSL, and we're only in the foothills of doing that. We've appointed a really good coach. They're playing an attractive form of football, but
We're just doomed with injuries. That's our issue right now. That's what it is. And speaking of Man City, we have another testing time coming up on Sunday.
We do indeed, yeah. We do indeed. But
West Ham on Thursday. Any thoughts on the City game at all? Not much you can really say. I don't.
No,
think
I mean,
so.
do you know what? There'll be no disgrace in losing to Manchester City until the Liverpool game. They'd won 23 consecutive league games.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah.
So and they're still unbeaten at home. So we wouldn't be the only ones to go down there, given all the injuries. The fact that our first 11 is
we have
not
no
currently
centre-backs.
available. We have no centre backs.
Yeah.
I think we just have to,
just suck it up.
We just
suck
back
it up and just
back the same as ever, and hope it doesn't become embarrassing. We hope it doesn't become 7-0.
Yeah, exactly.
But it could be. It could be. And that's part of Angie's history as well. They'll take some serious beatings, but I think there was a lot to be said for the first 20 minutes where there were some clubs who would be on the end of a 3 or 4-0 beating from us as well. We just need to get the second goal and really exercise control. But I'm not expecting points on Sunday, isn't it? I think it's 4:30 on Sunday.
Yeah.
West Ham will be tough, but
I think
I think we will. I think we've got enough to beat them, and then we've got Newcastle. So it doesn't. Tough. I mean, Newcastle surprised me by the way they dealt with Chelsea.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because Chelsea are not as good as they think they are.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said to you before, I think we just need to hold on and hope for the best until the new year is what I'm thinking. Until we've got our full squad back.
Yeah, it's going to be bumpy. I think it's going to be bumpy.
I'm not expecting wins.
Yeah, for the rest of 2023, it's going to be bumpy.
Love to be confident, but at the moment, I'm just anything that we can get out of these next few games will be about a plus, really. David, Jota will be here in January, and then we will start scoring outfuls of goals.
Unfortunately, not the Jota from Liverpool. He's thinking of the Jota that was at Celtic.
Yeah.
Do you know what? If you think Brian Hill is not up to the physicality of the Premier League, neither is Jota either. I don't see him as the answer. He's not the answer. No, I will be. I mean, and I speak as a sort of part-time Celtic fan. He scored important goals for them, but he was never up against fully fledged like a Reece James or a fullback with some with some meat behind them, as it were. No, he's not. He's not the solution for me.
Well, time will tell. I mean, I'm not expecting much from the January transfer window either, to be fair. But let's hope. Let's just hope and I'm sick of saying this, Sean. I'm sick of saying as a Spurs fan, let's hope. It's going to happen.
It's a
Everything's
free
going to be
hit this season.
okay. It's just, it's just relentless. It is such a tiring time being a Spurs fan, forever and ever and ever, and it just keeps going forever. That's just how it is. But anyway, on that note, Sean, is there anything you
No,
want to talk about before we go today?
no, just that in Ange I trust. I'm reading the
Oh
book about
yeah,
him
100%.
just
And
now.
yeah, like people need to lay off Ange. I think it's not,
Um,
he's doing the best with what he's got. Like,
he's having to do two things. He's trying to remain competitive in the hardest league in football, world football,
yeah,
but he's also having to prune a squad, which
yeah,
goes right back to 2019,
mm, yeah, it
even
does.
earlier. Some players have been
Even
with us for a
earlier.
decade, yeah.
Yeah.
So you know,
It's just a haphazard squad that we have, and
you
now
know,
the
uh-huh.
8 or 9 of them are injured. The ones that we can rely and trust on are injured, and yeah, I agree. You got to lay off Ange, everyone. It's not his fault. He's doing the best with what he's got, and he's mixing things up. He proved yesterday that he doesn't just play Dyer, and he doesn't just play. He's mixing things up for us with what he's got. So I know some people aren't very enthused by the fact that he does go attacking. Quite a lot of time we've gone from one of the most defensive managers or the most defensive manager in the world to kind of, the lineup that we saw yesterday, which is a complete 360. But, it's enjoyable to watch, at least, like you said.
Yeah, and I've always said the most important stat is goals for and goals against. And if we're going to go out on us, die on our sword, at least go out trying to score goals
Mm.
rather than defend till the opposition falls asleep. No, it's
Defense wins you titles, though, Sean. Defense wins you
huh?
titles. Defense wins you titles.
Yeah, but I want to win an FA Cup, and
True.
there you
I'd
need
like to
there.
win anything right now.
Nah, January's important. January's important. The FA Cup
January
starts.
is very, very
That's
important.
that's a realistic title. That's a realistic target this year.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've got our players back by then. Let's go for it. Yes, David, Ange is the man.
Come on, you Spurs. Exactly, David.
Sean, anything you want to talk about at all before we go?
No, I think there'll be talking points later this week, and obviously there'll be a preview of the City game, the City slaughter, the City incredible win away from home. Who knows? Who knows what you could expect?
Hey,
But
look,
yeah,
we had some great games against City last year, didn't we? Last season and the season before, I think. But yeah, different squad, different manager. We'll
well, a
see.
great yeah. We still got beat in the league at home, but yeah, at
True.
their place. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. It was great having you all here as always. If you can please like the show if you haven't already, it really, really helps us out. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great week. I'll probably be back on Monday again next week because we've got a Sunday game. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you again next Monday night after the City thrashing, and that's us thrashing them. But yeah, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you very soon. Come on, you Spurs.